Welcome to Snipisode 18 of the Daily Dose of DMC podcast. Today is Wednesday, January 25th, 2023, and I'm your host, HK. Good morning, all you beautiful people, and welcome back to the Daily Dose. Thank you for tuning in every single, well, it's not every single day, it's Monday to Friday, weekdays, every day at 8 a.m. So I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and we're here to transform our minds, to really kickstart our days with positivity and spurring some thought and making our minds sharper and fiercer and talking through things that we probably, a lot of us already know, or maybe there's things that you don't know, things that spur thought in your mind to really look up and to challenge perhaps some of the ways that you think in regards to your day-to-day life and how you utilize your mind. And like I said, the mind is a powerful tool. I say that over and over again. And we need to learn to really take control of it, to take control of our thoughts and really move forward with that. And today, as I was walking my dogs through the forest that we have close to our home, I was thinking to myself, well, we've talked about procrastination this week. We talked about how to stop negative thoughts and cognitive restructuring. And I was just in this moment as I was walking through the forest, and I thought, look, a lot of us here are now in the middle of the work week. You've probably, or perhaps maybe you've reached a little bit of frustration. So let me just share a little bit about what Shinrin-Yoku. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but that's a Japanese term which literally means forest bathing. And that's that's what I consider that I do when I'm going through the woods and I feel really connected. Yeah, that's something that originated in the 1980s, and it's really regarded in Japan as kind of a form of nature therapy. And to my understanding from what I've done on reading and digging into the topic, this is literally a form of therapy. So it's not just about hiking or wandering through the woods. That's what I do, and that's how I consider it as well. But it's about really being there and connecting and healing yourself while you're in nature. And I really believe nature can have that effect. However, when I walk or hike through the woods, I used to do a lot of running in former places that we've lived prior to one of my injuries, but I really felt connected. It's really where you have a peace of mind. It's just being in nature, having that tranquility. So and it's always been like that for both my wife, for myself, now for our kids, and everywhere we've kind of lived, we've always had something that is really close to be able just to get out and be in nature. Yeah, when we lived in the outskirts of Barcelona, close to where we lived, there was a beautiful natural park. When we moved to Valencia, it was the same. And Düsseldorf, again, same thing. So those are kind of the places we've lived over the past couple of years. And now as well, at the place where we live, right around the corner, not even 400 meters, a huge natural reserve to just go out and walk and be in the forest and then be on the seaside. And it just allows us to disconnect and to be in nature. And it's there's endless hiking routes, and that's what's the beauty of it. It's just you're able to immediately disconnect from everything. So to me, I think that's just something I just want to talk about with you guys today. It's, sports has always been part of my life, especially when I was in the corporate world, and it's just my balance, these long hours and all these draining tasks that just build up inside of you. And I think that's kind of where we are in the middle of the week as you're trying to get through things done. And but you need to disconnect every single day. That day-to-day craziness it can drive you bonkers with a lot of things that you need to do, especially if you have other responsibilities outside of work. So being able to go outside and just be in nature, it's solemn, it's peaceful, it's soothing, and it's something that I really encourage you to do if you have that opportunity. And if you don't, try to find somewhere where you can do it. If you can go hiking, that's something I've been doing as a kid, and now I do it with my kids. It's because it creates that tranquil peace of mind. Like I said, it gives you that restorative power. It refreshes your soul. It just nourishes the body and your mind as well. And it just gives you that wave of peace. And I know that whenever I'm in nature, at least, it always pulls me out of my day and like that day-to-day hassles that I might have. And hence I can understand why the Japanese call it Shinrin-Yoku. Apologies if I'm saying that incorrectly. But just have a look that up. Really encourage you guys to understand that concept as well, and how that ties into the daily dose. So, like I said, over the last couple of weeks, I've been reading a lot on this term, trying to look into a couple things nature related, its effects on the body and whatnot. And there's a lot of theories out there as to why nature brings us such tranquility, whatever it may be, from the clean air to a lack of noise and a lack of pollution to giving us that like immune boosting effect from even fine mist like wood essential oils. All these different things. There's lots of things out there, but also that just listening to things like the wind in the trees or birds or different kinds of lighting, it all just gently grabs your attention as you kind of meander through the woods. And if you've never really done this, or you think this kind of sounds crazy because you're so stuck in the concrete jungle, then hiking is not for everybody. And I get that. Being out in nature is not for everybody. But I think it's really an opportunity to go back to our roots, to really get out of those concrete jungles. And if you've never really done that, I encourage you just to give it a try. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. That's how it is. But when you're in that space, at least to me, it feels like I'm home. It fascinates me. And there's another study that I was reading about when I wrote my original blog post from the Journal of Affective Disorders, that showed volunteers who were suffering from depression, and they took a 50-minute walk through the woods. They were able to improve their cognitive ability, and this was actually measured, through remembering just a random string of digits and repeating them in reverse order and whatnot, and really just lifting up their spirits, versus those who also just continued walking through cities, through our urban jungle, the concrete jungle. And in that study, led by a Dr. Berman, they say in a lot of natural areas, you're away from loud noises and distractions. It tends to be less crowded, so you don't have to worry about bumping into people. And it also has interesting stimulation to look at, which captures your attention automatically, which basically means, like what I said before, when you're walking through the woods, you're hearing the birds and seeing the light in different perspectives and the smells and whatnot. It's different. However, in contrast, those honking horns and traffic lights and crowded sidewalks and just pretty much every other ingredient of modern life in a big city constantly force us to exert our voluntary attention to react or block them out, which ultimately leaves us more cognitively depleted. So that's why I think that study makes sense when you're looking at those people who are actually out in nature versus those who are in the city, and how that goes through us. And I really believe that when you're out in nature and you can really connect, when you're just out there and let me ask you this. When you're looking out a window and just looking at other buildings, how do you feel? How do you feel when you're at the top of a mountain that you just climbed and you're looking out over nature? How do you feel when you're walking alone through the woods and taking in all of this stimulation? Whether you're hiking on your own or you're hiking with your partner or friends, how do you feel in those given moments? That really, at least to me, it gets my serotonin levels going. I just love nature. My wife loves it. My kids love it. Our dogs love it. Just being outdoors and being in the wild is sometimes, at least for me, like where I feel like I need to be, because we're not made to be crammed in an office. That's not what you need to do to succeed, because like we talked about, that's what society is telling us we need to do. And of course, we need to do that. I'm not saying give up your job or don't work. That's not what I'm saying here. But feel connected. Go back to the roots. It's about really going back to those roots, just connecting with our real selves again. This isn't about like that artificial social networking facade we all live, or chasing those job titles at work that ultimately they don't even really matter. Yes, making money and doing that is a different topic that we can have a discussion on. But here we're talking about our mental sanity. And sometimes life is tough. Life, you got to grind it. You got to do those Excels and you got to get in those meetings and write those emails and whatnot. But you got to ask yourself, are you willing to give up your mental sanity for some of the things that society and your environment wants you to do? So I really encourage you and I really challenge you to just just wander. Just wander. Take some time out of your schedule. Get away from the hectic city life if that's where you live. Really, just try and go find peace within. Hike, sit, breathe, meditate, whatever you like to do out in nature. Just do it. Just do it once a week. Yeah, break some kind of habit or routine into your daily doings, and just give that a shot. Just do it. See what happens. See what difference it makes to your soul, your mind, and then let me know. I really would like to know how you feel. Hit me up afterwards. Tell me about your experience. Tell me why you did it, how you felt. I love hearing these types of stories. Like I said, even if you say, hey, that's not for me, I'd like to know why. Guys, 2023 has 11 months left. Make them count. Let's get back our mental sanity. Let's transform our minds to positivity. Let's connect with nature. Thank you for listening in today. As always, if you're listening on YouTube, comment below, leave some thoughts, hit the like button, kindly subscribe. That does awesome things for the YouTube algorithm, as you guys already know. And if you're listening to this elsewhere, such as in Spotify or Google Podcasts, then I really appreciate it. And thank you guys for tuning in. Click the follow button to get notified each morning whenever I release these Snipisodes. That being said, guys, stay dedicated, motivated, committed all day, every day.